This is the Steve Spagnuolo Show, exclusively on 101 ESPN.
All right, welcome back to Rams Park. Steve Spagnuolo joining me and DeMarco Farr here. And Steve, first of all, give me your thoughts day after watching the tape, watching four quarters of football. Give me your general thoughts on the way your team played.
Well, it's hard to say a lot of good when it's 47-7, but I always try to find good in it. I believe in that. I do think, I mentioned it today, that the effort of this football team is still there, and I know it's a hard struggle in a game like that, but they do continue to give everything they've got, and I appreciate that. You know, we did some other things that we got to iron out and clean up. Otherwise, we're going to have trouble winning any games. But I'll always credit the effort. And you know, again, I'm a silver lining guy. You know, it was hard to stop that running back. That was a good player, a good quarterback, and I hope he's okay. I know he got hurt, but in the second half, I'm not a big stat guy, but one did stick out. Chris Johnson carried the ball 16 times for 30 yards. So that's somewhat encouraging. Now, he had the big plays in the first half, and you play 60 minutes of a football game, and they played a little bit better than we did. But we'll move on to the next one.
We were talking in the first segment. I watched Kyle Boller from the moment he walked on the field, and I don't know, from my vantage point, it was clear to me he was not ready to play football. You wanted Kyle Boller to be the starter. It didn't seem possible to me watching him warm up for 20 minutes.
No, it was, and Kyle, we talked Saturday night, and it was a 50-50 deal, and he just didn't want to give up hope of not being able to try to do it. That's him. That's his nature. And I trust guys, especially guys that have been around the league for a while, that if they feel like they can do it, I trust them and we go with it, just like we've done with Steve. And Kyle still wanted to hold out hope that he could get out there, loosen it up, and warm it up, and he was on the bike and the whole thing, and it just didn't come around. So
my point is, if this guy's not ready to go and he wants to shut it down, he's hurt.
Yes,
based on what we have seen, because the one thing I would not question is the kid's guts.
I agree with you 100%. Now, Kyle, he has to be hurt and not to be fighting his way and scratching and crawling to get out there.
What'd you think of your rookie, Keith Null?
I tell you what, DeMarco, the 5 interceptions aside, I mean, we all know that's hard. You don't want to do that, but there was some poise and some composure, and the game didn't seem too big for him. I know it was probably a little faster than he had been used to in preseason. He had pretty good command of himself. I think the guys had confidence in him. You know, Tennessee did some good things. They do what you do. The Tennessee did what you should do when you face a rookie quarterback in his first game, and changed some things up and came after him and whatnot and forced him into a couple of mistakes. But all in all things considered, I thought Keith did a nice job.
He didn't have the big wide-eyed,
not at all
deer in headlights?
Not at all. You know, when you give him the green light, I winked at him when I talked to the team at the end, and I mean at the beginning of the game in the locker room, and said, "You ready to go?" And he had a big smile on his face. So, and I think the guys were, really tried to rally around him. Didn't work out the way we wanted, but there was some positive there.
Let me talk about Steven for a moment. They did a great job against the run, obviously, yesterday. The Titans defense did. Are there any thoughts, that came up today, about asking Steven about how he's doing physically and maybe giving him some time off or shutting him down if that's necessary?
Well, I mean, I'll always talk to Steve, and sometimes I try to leave him alone, too.
Right.
We don't want to be bothered by the head coach all the time, and I'm respectful of that. But we'll communicate, and his health is more important than anything else, but he's a very trustworthy guy. I trust him, and when he tells me he's okay to go, I'm good with that. If he tells me, it's acting up, I'm okay with that. I mean, he's been in the league long enough. He's been fighting for us all season long, and we'll continue to do that. And, should we hit that stretch where it's really bothering him and we got to pull back, we'll do that.
Do you think he hasn't slowed down? I mean, I
don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he still looks every bit as effective to me when he's out there. Now, I know he's toughing it out, but that's him. I mean, he gets in the heat of the game and competes, and I don't even think he thinks about what he has wrong with him. It's probably after the game and the next day. I'm sure Monday mornings are tough for him. But he has been gutting it out.
You got the Houston Texans coming in this week. How deep are you into them, and how much do you know?
A little bit. I usually watch their offense first, so I'm kind of into that. And quarterback's playing really well, and the wideout's real scary. He's
a monster.
Yeah, he's a legitimate. wide receiver in this league, makes a lot of plays for them. And, they have that Alex Gibbs zone blocking scheme that they're working, which is always a challenge to get ready for in 1 week, but we'll do that.
Curious, when you watch film or a game, where do your eyes go?
Yeah.
You mean film when I'm watching the film?
Just
How do you watch the game?
Yeah.
Do you watch it through a certain position to the ball, or do you take in the entire screen?
That's an interesting question you guys are asking me. I don't know. I guess I see the whole thing. I mean, I'm typically breaking something down specifically. I usually start with protections and then run game and then move out from there. It's probably, so if an answer to the question is probably inside out.
Does the missus enjoy watching football with
She
you
does.
when she gets a chance?
Yeah, she sits and watches it while she reads a book.
Does she?
I wish I had. Read a book while I watch football. I get 1,000
She's great
questions.
that way. She's great that way.
My wife asked me 1,000 questions.
You know what books my wife reads?
What?
Cookbooks.
Really?
If you can believe
That's
it.
good for you.
Yeah, it is. It is. She loves to read cookbooks. I'll look over there all the time and she's reading the
Can I give your wife my wife's number?
You got it.
Yeah,
You got
that's
it.
what I'm
We'll
talking
spread
about
the-
right there.
All right, we'll exchange
Food
recipes later in the week.
Yeah, let's not
we'll
go
turn
down.
you loose.
We're digressing here.
We'll turn you loose to get ready for the Texans.
All right, guys.
Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks, DeMarco.
That is head coach Steve Spagnuolo, and you're listening to the Steve Spagnuolo Show on the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.